What is going on, everybody? So I'm back today to talk about a new Shudder original film that was released several weeks ago, and I saw the poster for it and was really excited to check this one out. As you all know, I'm a huge fan of Shudder. I love the streaming service. I've actually been lucky enough this year on my podcast, the Film Monsters podcast, to talk to a few of my favorite directors that have been included on the Shudder streaming service and some directors that have not. If you haven't, go check those out on my podcast YouTube page, or you can watch them on my channel, either one. There's some really great conversations, and if you're a fan of horror in general, you're really going to appreciate those. So I was really looking forward to checking this movie out, and the film I'm going to be discussing today is Attachment. Attachment is directed by Gabriel Bjerre Gislason. Maja, a Danish actress past her prime, falls in love with Leah, a young Jewish academic from London. Leah suffers a mysterious seizure, and Maja returns with her to London. There she meets Leah's mother, an overbearing woman who could hold dark secrets. So I really didn't read any reviews for this or look at much. With Shudder films, I typically go in with as little knowledge as possible because I feel like the reviews, especially on the streaming service itself, are kind of all over the place. Letterboxd every now and again, it's hit or miss with people enjoying them. And I did really enjoy this film. I think it has a lot of flaws, but I do think that it's still a very enjoyable experience that I can appreciate. So as the description says, you have Maja, who is this actress who at the beginning of the film, she's at this library and she's about to read these kids this book. She's dressed in an elf costume. She ends up running into Leah. The two of them kind of have this really sort of cute interaction together, and she runs into the other room. She finds that she grabbed the wrong book and makes up this story on the fly. Leah ends up bringing her the correct book. The two of them start talking and hanging out, and they begin this blossoming romance. Well, one night when they're together, Leah ends up having a seizure when she's asleep, and she hurts her leg really bad. And her mother, as we see at the beginning of the film, is constantly calling her over and over again, really overbearing as far as the protective nature, and constantly questioning what she's doing. Almost feels less of like, a parent and more of like a controlling boyfriend or girlfriend in that situation. And so she ends up deciding, I want to go home and see my mother while I'm sick. And so Maja decides to go with her. So the two of them live in this like apartment above the mother's apartment. And the mother is really off. You can tell that she isn't all there. The dynamic is created early on where Leah says that her father was a very devout Jewish man, like very intense with his beliefs, and her mother kind of practiced because it was part of being the family. But now it seems that the mother is practicing those religious ideals on her own, is trying to keep that family tradition alive, even though Leah doesn't seem to practice it herself all that much. And so Maja is brought into this very different environment. And whilst they're there, weird things start occurring. And that's what the movie is all these weird things happen that involve some lore of the religion, which is really fascinating. And like I said, I really enjoyed this. And the reason why I feel like I enjoyed this as much as I did is because the characters are really well written. I feel like Maja and Leah, both of the performances from them are really great. I felt like their relationship was very naturalistic. The interactions that they have with one another, they feel like a real couple. It doesn't feel overly dramatic or overly sappy. It's perfectly balanced for this type of a film, which I really appreciated a lot. And I think their chemistry is really what holds this film together. I think all the other performances are great. The mother in it does a phenomenal job. I believe it's their uncle. He works at this shop in the downtown where when Maja starts to think something's going on, she goes there to investigate some of the lore in Judaism about like certain creatures and entities and things like that. What could possibly be impacting them? Does the mother have something to do with it? And so you have these really interesting power dynamics created as well as this new significant other in this relationship who wants the best for her partner. And then you have this mother who thinks she knows what's best for her daughter. And so the clash of those dynamics is really great as well, and I liked that a lot. The biggest issue that I have with this movie, there's two. The first is the pacing isn't perfect. There's a lot early on of like something goes bump in the night and then you get the repeat over and over and over again, which I feel like is a cliche we see in so many horror films. And so that pulled me out a little bit of it. And then the tail end of this becomes a very predictable, almost similar to a big budget horror film, where I pretty much guessed exactly what was going to happen at about the 30-minute mark of the movie. I had a feeling as to what direction it was going to go. It went exactly in that direction, which I liked the character so much it didn't really upset me. But as far as like a rewatchability factor for this film, knowing that that's the direction that it's going to go, there's no real subversion on the genre of what you would expect, that I wouldn't really be compelled to want to revisit this anytime soon. I'd want it to leave my memory so that I could like get back into it, but obviously it falls victim to doing those things. But I think that the character dynamics are so well fleshed out and that the performances are great enough that this one is worth watching if you're into any sort of like supernatural haunting type of film, while also enjoying a really great relationship dynamic. And obviously having Judaism at the forefront, there's this interesting idea conveyed about like them being a lesbian couple and how that parallels into the religion. And I thought the way they handled that was really fascinating because they don't dwell on it too much. It's almost like the people involved don't really care that they're a gay couple. And I thought that was a cool thing to put in, to see like the progression in that religion from this director's perspective. I thought that was really an interesting thing to put into the film, but I enjoyed myself for the most part. And I think if you have a Shudder subscription, it's definitely worth watching. So have you seen Attachment? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this was really entertaining. Despite the flaws that I think that the movie has, I still think it's a fun watch and worth your time. As always, if you like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.